What if I told you you look old? Yeah, you. You look old today. You might be confused thinking, what, who, me? If so, you're not alone because these were the exact words my husband said to me. I was perplexed, especially when I grew up with the expression, black don't crack. For those who are unfamiliar, this is an expression we use in the Black community to suggest that we, especially Black women, tend to defy the laws of aging. It was 6 a.m., my 40th birthday only a few months away, and I realized my Black was starting to crack. Over the past several years, the impacts of the pandemic caused many of us to crack under the overwhelming pressure as we navigate life and create our new normal. I'm here today to share with you a holistic method to manage your emotional and physical pain and the impacts of the pandemic and all of life's pressures that you're under right now. My husband's delivery has never been the greatest. Take when we met back in 2005. I was visiting my family in New Orleans. I met him on the campus of Tulane University where he went to school. He came over to my table to sit down with his friends to play a game of spades. He turned to me and asked, "Hey, my name's Clarence. What's yours?" "I'm Danielle," I responded in my unbothered tone as I ate my bagel sandwich. "What's your major?" he asked. "Microbiology. I'm pre-med." He paused and said, My mom always wanted me to marry a doctor." Well, his delivery must have been good enough because feeling a mixture of flattery and annoyance, I later gave him my number. Fast forward to after the "I'm looking old" statement, and I realized I was at an all-time low. I was averaging 3 hours of sleep each night. There were days where I felt like I had holes in my brain because I struggled to connect a thought. My eyebrows were even starting to turn gray. So I sat in my office with tears streaming down my face because I knew I needed to change. I started to reflect on my life coming out of the pandemic, and I realized I did what many people do with high functioning depression. I just kept pushing forward. I started a new job. I went full throttle on my business. I even added a side hustle as a certified yoga instructor. Not to mention grieving the loss of family members, recovering from high blood pressure, struggling with my hip and back pain, all while juggling a busy household with a newborn and ducking and dodging the various strains of COVID. People would look at me like I was a superwoman. They would ask, "How do you do it all?" An outsider looking in might think I had a good life. I was doing things that I enjoy. So how could a yoga instructor be stressed and burnt out? This concept was mind-boggling to me. At this point in my life, I felt like I was using every extremity to hold my life together. And with one slip up, it would all fall apart. Have you ever felt that way? If so, your feelings are validated by research. Dr. Judith Joseph did a study and found that many women, especially Black women, use busy work as a form of avoidance, which is a coping mechanism in response to a traumatic event. In 2024, the World Health Organization stated that the pandemic triggered a 25% increase in the prevalence of anxiety and depression. And that's been compounded by global conflicts, social injustice, climate change, and inflation. And since the pandemic, 1.5 billion people are believed to suffer from chronic pain. That's 20% of the world's population, or 1 out of 5 people in this room. When I read this, my mind was blown. I was here suffering in silence, thinking I was alone in my pain, when really this was a shared experience. So I asked myself, how do I get my health back? How do I break the cycle of stress and pain? So I did what any good millennial would do, and I asked Google. I went down this wellness rabbit hole search, connecting things that I read and heard until I landed on the concept of somatic exercise therapy, which perfectly married things I was already doing or familiar with. This is the idea of using awareness to connect your mind, your breath, and your movement to Identify feelings and emotions and chronic pain stored in your body to release the pain. Through breath work, meditation, and movement, you can relieve stress, reduce pain, and heal from trauma. I learned that the body benefits from movement and the mind benefits from stillness. With only a few minutes a day, we can relieve the impacts of the pandemic and start to heal. If it only takes a few minutes a day, imagine what your life would be like if you pause, breathe, and move every day. Humor me for a moment and let's try it together. Close your eyes. Don't worry, it's only for a moment. Inhale through your nose, fill up your belly, expand your lungs, and exhale out through your mouth. Good. Continue your breath at your own pace. You may choose to rest a hand on your chest or your belly to feel the rise and fall of your chest as you breathe in and out. Draw awareness to your heart beating in your chest and any pain or discomfort. You might choose to make simple adjustments in your seat to relieve the tension or pain. Now pause and observe the peace and calm you feel in this moment. On your next inhale, open your eyes and lower your hands and carry this feeling forward with you for the rest of the day. This is the practice of somatic exercise. So I started applying these 90-second pauses like you just did and 10-minute mobility stretches when working with busy professionals struggling with stress and pain, and we felt the stress melt away. You might have felt it too in these few moments. The European Journal of Psychotraumatology has shown that somatic exercises significantly reduce PTSD symptoms and enhance overall well-being. For example, breath work enhances focus, lowers blood pressure, and reduces your stress levels. Mindful meditation enhances the alpha and theta brain waves to improve your sleep. And movement at the pace of your breath improves muscle and joint recovery, it stimulates the vagus nerve, and enhances your gut health. So I said to myself, now that you know these things, how will you apply them to your daily life? How will you use them to help others? How could it change the trajectory of your life? So I designed a 30-day guide using somatic exercises to create awareness, alignment, and action. Now I feel more rested, energized, my blood pressure is under control, and I have the confidence because I know I have the tools to manage my mental and physical health. Not to mention, it's even slowed down the visible signs of my black cracking. My eyebrows are still gray, but some things we can change and other things we can cover with hair dye. So as you leave today, remember that before the world starts to make you crack, take a deep breath, let it go, and remind yourself that this moment is the only one you know you have for sure. Thank you.